Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Sabine Lobnik from the Mobile and Wireless Forum, and I'm here today with Dominique Archambault.
Hello.
I hope I got your name correctly pronounced. And we are talking about mainstreaming accessibility and universal design in higher education. First, a few words on why I'm talking to Dominique about that. Dominique is president of AAATE for 1 year, 2 years?
I just started this year, but it's going to be for the two next years.
Perfect. And you're also professor for computer science at University Paris 8, and have been working almost 40 years in support of students with disabilities. So that is why we're talking to you. You're also a co-founding member of APACHE, and I believe APACHE is an association of support personnel in universities, right?
Yeah, APACHE is the association of the people working in support centers all over France.
Okay, perfect.
For students with disabilities.
Good. So Dominique, we're talking about accessibility in higher education, but we have been talking about that for 20 years, even longer. So what is the problem still?
Well, what we can say is that we have to assess first that the access to students with disabilities in higher education have been progressing a lot in the last 40 years. I've been witnessing this, and I can say it, but then it's still not enough. It's still far from enough. And what I can see is that a lot of students today still feel that they are not appropriately supported. In many countries, we have set up some support centers for students with disabilities who are doing a great job. This is something that I could observe too, because in the 80s, I was working in a university where we had a support center. We did not have a lot of students with disabilities at this time. And then some years later, in the 90s, I was working in another university, and the president told me, you don't need to have a support center. You know, if some students with disability come, don't worry, we'll give you some money, but there is no really need to create a service. And what we could observe at the same time is that in universities where they were creating services, then students were coming more and more. And finally, in France, in 2005, after 2005, these support centers were generalized. And what we could see is that the number of students started to increase a lot, going from 8,000 in 2005 to about 70,000 now for one country. So yes, this support center exists. They do some work, but still it's not working for everyone. It's not enough. So what is the roadblock? And what I can identify as a roadblock is actually the teaching staff, the biggest problem. Because a lot of teachers, they will say, okay, I agree to have some students with disability in the group, there is no problem, but they have to take it as it is, and I don't want to change anything in my teaching, which actually is not going to work. It's not working because the numbers are getting really. We still have really a lot of students. So, for instance, when you have some documents which need to be accessible, the support center cannot cope with the number of documents, and they cannot create accessible documents for all of them like that. So. They only need to follow a few rules of design for all, accessibility guidelines that are not explicitly complicated. But this still it's not really working. There is another roadblock, which is all the university software, you know, the business software, or the software that students will use to access their planning, notes, evaluations, their contents, the software also that is used by the university for many things, invoices, payment, etc., that are barely accessible. So what we need now is really to create a real culture of accessibility within the academic context.
Okay, so in this context, AAATE is promoting the Nicosia Declaration. So can you tell us what is the Nicosia Declaration and how would that help to finally get accessibility or streamline accessibility in higher education?
Yes, during the last AAAT conference, which was in Nicosia in September 2025, the partners of the Athena project launched this declaration that we call the Nicosia Declaration, which is putting in words 10 principles that universities should put in place in order to foster their politics, in order to push forward accessibility and design for all. Within this partnership, the Athena project, there was the European Disability Forum, the International Association of Accessibility Professionals, and several universities, like Johannes Kepler University Linz from Austria, and several others. And really, the content on this declaration, well, there are 10 points. I'm not going to read all of them now. It will be a bit long, but the first point is to recognize that accessibility and universal design and accessibility and assistive technologies is right-based imperatives. It's not the goodwill of a teacher who will say, "Oh yes, I have to do something." No, it's right. It's not sure. Yeah. So this is something that the academic staff have to really understand. It's based on rights. Some other topics some other points is to ensure the participation of persons with disabilities, including students, student association, unions, in this work. Creating support communities of practice. Well, globally, the idea is to raise the public awareness about this within the university and to foster a cultural shift in order to make all the members of the academic community aware that universal design accessibility is a right and it has to be implemented now.
Okay, so what happens when you sign the declaration?
Well, to sign the declaration, what happens? I mean, there are two kinds of person who, well, actually everybody can sign it, of course, but when you can sign it as an institution or you can sign it as an individual. And for me, for institutions, especially for university who will sign it, one important thing is that when you present it to the academic board, to the president of the university, rector, whatever, even if they refuse to sign it, they will have to read it. And when they read it, they will at least see what is needed, which is maybe a first stone in the door. And then when a university will sign it, well, it's a very strong sign that they want to do something, that they want to really progress in the path of mainstreaming access universal universities, academic. Well, other organizations can also sign it to support this idea, and it's the same with individuals. So when a professor will sign it, that means that they will really integrate for themselves that they need to do this work. But for all others, it's important that people feel that a big community of people support this idea. So that's why we really want, on one side, that universities and academic staff sign it, endorse it, but also everybody to support this idea.
Okay, very good. So I understand why you as a professor at the university want to sign the Nicosia Declaration, but you mentioned it was born at the AAAT conference. It was created at the AAAT conference. So what is the interest of AAATE to promote such a declaration?
Well, you know, AAAT, the Association for the Advancement of Assistive Technology in Europe, is an association which exists since 30 years. And its raison d'être, its DNA, is to support the development of assistive technology. Assistive technology and accessibility, for me, it's the two sides of the same coin. So it's very important also. So access to higher education for students with disabilities is one of the cornerstones of assistive technology. On the other side, in this association, a lot of members are academics themselves, and many of them are trying to improve the situation in their own university, and this is also a tool for them. This declaration is a tool for them. Like, as I said, when you are a disability officer or in charge of students with disabilities in your university, and you want to talk to your board of executive board or your rector president to say, okay, we need to improve things. This is really a good tool to show them written what is really needed for improving the situation of students with disabilities in all over,
Okay.
in Europe and everywhere.
Okay, very good. So we have a great audience here, sitting here at the Zero Project Conference. We have a lot of people attending online. What can each and every one of us do, either with the declaration or just in general, to push forward, finally, the accessibility in higher education?
So the first thing is really to raise this idea that everybody can go to university to pursue studies. Of course, there are some rules. You need to have a certain to have finished the high school, etc. But then when everybody who finish high school can go to university. Everybody is welcome in universities, and all the teachers, the professors in university have to really understand that themselves also. So what can you do? Well, you can spread this idea, but you can also go to the AAATE website, AAATE.net, AAATE.net. That's very easy. On the front page, you will find the Nicosia Declaration, a link there. So when you click on it, it will bring you to a form where you can just put your name, your institution, if you have one. You can also sign it in just your name and an email. And then you will receive an email. The system will send you an email for confirmation because, of course, we don't want to have thousands of fake signatures or spam, etc. So, yeah. You have to check in your spam folder. Sometimes it goes into spam. And if you really don't receive anything, you send me an email because there is sometimes the spam are blocked before coming there. And then that's all. It's done.
Okay, very good. So we were also very good in our timing. So we have time for a last message to the audience. What would you tell them?
Well, I will tell, first, sign this declaration.
Homework for everyone?
I will also tell if you have in your relation, in your professional or personal relation, some young people who want to go to university and who are not hesitating to go because of disabilities, you have to tell them they can, they should. Because we know also that is some studies we have been doing that there is a lot of depreciation, a lot of people who just don't dare to go to university when actually they could, they should. There is no reason they don't. So this is really something that is really important. We have a big. So I can talk about France because really I know the situation. We know that there are a lot of students who finish high school and who don't dare to go to university where they go. So this is really another point that is very important.
Okay, great. Then we finish with that call to action, and with that maybe we create the push that then pushes the university to finally implement better accessibility. Thank you, Dominic, and I send you all home with the homework of going to sign the declaration and encourage everyone to really go to university with or without disability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sabine.